As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, in association with African Asian Rural Development Organization, ARDO, organize this weekly webinar series on open source digital technology towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And today is the 81st edition of the webinar series, 2nd July 2022. And this webinar is organized from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time every Saturday. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency, the Secretary General ARDO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome our guest speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Sindura Ganapathi, visiting PSA Fellow, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, New Delhi, and Senior Visiting Scholar, Huck Institutes of the Life Sciences, Penn State University, USA. I wish to inform the participants and the guest speaker that under this international webinar series, these two centers of excellence, that is Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, have organized so far 80 lectures on very important topics of relevance, namely open technologies to provision simple and economical IT infrastructure, a roadmap for students using free and open source software, and reaching the goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Open source software in industrial IoTs for SMEs, free and open source adoption and business models, open data platform for smart digital government, technology imperatives, make in India for self-reliance, edge artificial intelligence, data governance for self-reliant India, and Digital India transforming governance and society. India's email service, citizen@indiamail.com, in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. Ecosystem architecture for digital transformation. Education system, cyber critical infrastructure. And seizing opportunity in open innovation and value creation network in the digital world for self-reliant economy, by Dr. Jabamali Vinanchi Arachi, former principal advisor to the Director General UNIDO. Ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. Digital India, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India. This was addressed by Mr. Ajay Jalan, founder and managing director, Next Orbit Ventures, from Mumbai on 19th December 2020. And now I'm very happy to know that the Government of India has launched a very big program on semiconductor manufacturing in India. And technology investment in agriculture value chain, role of foreign direct investment, by Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, IAS retired, former chairman, Competition Commission of India, and executive director, World Bank. The rise in entrepreneurship and skill development, AI design pathways. The rise of platform economy, revisiting value chain governance, era of automation, industrial robotics, and Industry 4.0, Indo-German perspective of technology transfer, skill gap analysis, and opportunities. Role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, current developments in diagnosis, and vaccine research by Mr. Vivek Verma, advisor Algorium Incorporated, an artificial intelligence startup, New Jersey, USA. Digital Agri-Tech and Agri-Tech Startup Perspective, Health Informatics Network Value Chain, e-Health System and Beyond by Nilesh Kanade is an NRI, and he is promoting that integrated health management informatics network and leveraging emerging technology for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chain. Unleash the power of citizen development for enterprise software development, e-governance models towards sustained quality services to citizen backed up by technology. Indian MSME to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities, urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program, because many startups and accelerator programs stops at the tier 1 cities. It doesn't go to the gram panchayat level. And building public digital platform using microservices and APIs, health informatics network value chain, early childhood development and learning, health informatics network value chain, clinical AI, and interface between machine learning and health informatics. You take the example, primary health center, both in human health and animal health. The doctors who join the primary health center, they don't get training. This is where clinical AI is very important. There is an interface between machine learning and health informatics. Health informatics network value chain, importance of social medicine and community health in the times of health emergency. G-filter, gravity filter, that a simple low-cost solution to drinking water treatment in rural India. Open source Govt startup empowering growth with automation. Digital transformation in small enterprises and small businesses of India, challenges and opportunities. National Digital Twine Program, need for a robust geospatial infrastructure. We have so many, smart city programs operational, but they don't have a strong geospatial infrastructure on ground. And every smart city should have a digital twine infrastructure. Industry 4.0 in MSME, benefits of indigenously developed CollabCAD, indigenously developed software from National Informatics Center, mass serialization, and anti-counterfeiting solutions to fight illicit trade, and cybersecurity, risk, challenges, and solutions, intelligence approach to reduce cyber risk, new internet IPv6 root server toward Atmanirbhar connected Bharat. We demanded at least 10 IPv6 root servers should be installed in India. Indian startups, reflections, and possible policy intervention needed for scaling up to Gram Panchayat. Blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform, pathway for global trade. Robot as a service, leverage technology to solve enterprise challenges. Space startups, connecting to international markets with the emerging business models. Enabling technologies for future vision. Vivekananda Secondary Education and Skills Development Mega Project. Its potential impact on rural entrepreneurship and the rural economy of India. Sports Grail, a digital sports media platform, and prospects of Indian sports industry sustainability model at a global level. Pharma 4.0, Industry 4.0, applications to pharmaceutical manufacturing path to a digital transformation. Accelerate and scale non-linear growth through partner ecosystem. Technological renaissance and the human capital, a perspective. Health informatics network value chain, medical outreach, challenges and potential. This is done by an NGO working in Nilgiris forests. Beyond COVID-19, revitalizing micro and small enterprises, project management essentials, launchpad for future CEOs and startups, founders, and beyond. And Society 5.0, yes, new society beyond Industry 4.0 and post-COVID-19. Smart village community, the African IoT ICT lessons, digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower self-reliance. Pragmatic ways for Atmanirbhar Bharat, democratization of essential services, which is using sustainable energy as a catalyst. Dr. Haris Handley, Raman Magsaysay awardee in 2011. transforming India through relevant education and vocational training, digital technology in simplifying citizen life, on online learning during the pandemic and its future, smart microeconomic zones, pathway for self-reliance at village level, Atmanirbhar village, crime prediction support system, knowledge management for development partnership to achieve sustainable development goals of the UN and implementing Agenda 2030, millet value chain from IoT to blockchain, a traceability roadmap, aspirational district program in left-wing extremism affected district, a successful model of data-driven governance, digital architecture, digital agriculture supply chain and trading hub, a geo-economic perspective by Maya Suresh Kannan and NRI, market-driven agriculture, need for development of crop-specific strategies at block level, an open agri-network to unlock $1 trillion plus potential of Indian agriculture with smallholder farmers. Developing rural entrepreneurship to ensure doubling of farmers' income. Leveraging the power of convergence through connecting the dots. The dots are agri-startups, agripreneurs, and rural innovators. Agronomy plus artificial intelligence equal to precision farming. Doubling farmers' income, imperatives of plant health informatics network. Imperatives of plant health informatics network. Developing commercial breadfruit value chain to help reach high value markets. Commodity value chain creation through AgriNet network and Agri AI by Andrew Gavagan from Australia. Farm to Plate, one-stop agri-tech platform to simplify supply chain and e-governance needs of food and perishable commodities. Health Informatics Network Value Chain, National Animal Disease Reporting System, NADRS 2012 and beyond by Dr. Praveen Malik, Principal Scientist, and former Animal Husbandry Commissioner and Minister of Animal Health, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, Dairying, Government of India. AI and Metaverse for frontiers in workspace. Coconut value chain challenges transforming into opportunities. And coffee informatics value chain facilitating smallholder coffee farmers into business. Today is the 81st edition of this very important webinar series. We'll have the talk by our guest speaker, Dr. Sindura Ganapathi, visiting Principal Scientific Advisor Fellow, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, New Delhi, and Senior Visiting Scholar, Huck Institutes of the Life Sciences, Penn State University, United States of America, on a very important topic, Health Informatics Network Value Chain, building of one health ecosystem, building of one health ecosystem, role of digital architecture. And dear participants, you see the keywords: health, health informatics, network value chain, one health ecosystem, and digital architecture. Atmanirbhar Bharat is the road ahead. It is a vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, making India a self-reliant nation through rested on 5 I's: intent, investment, inclusion, infrastructure, and innovation. Based on 5 pillars: economy, quantum jump in economy; infrastructure, one that represents modern India; system, 21st century technology driven and vibrant demography; and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. And during the third tranche of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Government of India has provided 1.5 lakhs crore as a booster for the agriculture sector, which included rupees 13,000 crores to achieve 100% vaccination of cattle, buffaloes, sheep, goats, and pigs, and 15,000 crores for animal husbandry infrastructure, and vocal for local to make it global. It's very important. India has got about 63 million MSMEs and MS business by medium and small businesses, micro businesses. They needed to find a place in the space vacated by China due to COVID-19 situation. The reforms announced has been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chain. Agriculture sector is the foundation of Indian economy. Acharya Vinoba Bhave said, India is largely an agrarian economy, Krishi Pradhan Desh, and the country of villages having more than 6.25 lakhs villages, Gram Pradhan Desh. India lives in villages. More than 50% of the India's workforce works in agriculture and contributes 19% of the GDP. And climate change has both direct and indirect effects on agricultural productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, flooding, and changes in geographical redistribution of pests and diseases. And farmers of India are facing multidimensional problems: price fluctuation, debt and lack of infrastructure, and weather. Indian farming community consists of about 14.5 crore operational holdings, of which 85% have small and marginal size operational holdings. Farmer needs timely, location specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified markets. Many national level programs, be it Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India programs, have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, that too at small and marginal farmers. Honorable Prime Minister said it in his Independence Day address on 15th August 2021. He said, I quote, in the coming years, we will have to increase the collective power of the small farmers of the country. We have to give them new facilities. They must become the country's pride. On 28th February 2016, while addressing the farmers' rally in Uttar Pradesh, Shri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister of India, said, my dream is to see farmers double their income by 2022, when the country completes 75 years of independence. Then follows the constitution of the doubling farmers' income by 2022 under the chairmanship of Dr. Ashok Dalwai. And I was closely associated with this committee, and I was the group leader for 2 volumes, volume 11, that is Empowering the Farmers Through Extension and Knowledge Dissemination. Volume 12B is Digital Technology in Agriculture. Based on my vast experience from 1987 to 2016, I was able to, give this recommendation: 7 mission mode programs to be undertaken in India to digitalize Indian agriculture. 1. Digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture, synergization of Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startup India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector through smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions. Digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. And digitalized value chain for agriculture, value chain for 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill and agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to the farmers. Digitalized integrated land and water management system. And finally, digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss, that is integrating farmer health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health. Doubling of farmers' income committee report also suggested networking of all cooperative societies, CoopNet, and digitalization of each cooperative society as a value chain, e-cooperatives. And it says that need for development of a network of cooperative societies, CoopNet, and automation of each cooperative society, e-cooperatives, to facilitate governance and operational efficiency in the cooperative sector is good for rural India. And Digital India program aims to transform India into a knowledge-based economy and a digitalized, empowered society. And on 20th February 2019, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology published a report titled India's $1 trillion digital opportunity in collaboration with McKinsey and Company. It identified the 30 digital themes, and if scaled up nationally, can accelerate India's progress in 9 key areas. Digital economy is the rise of platform economy. 10 emerging technologies making impacts: artificial intelligence, 5G, IoT, serverless computing, biometrics, augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain, robotics, natural language processing, and quantum computing. We have the ecosystem. India has to achieve agriculture 4.0, industry 4.0, and society 5.0. And this is where today's topic is very important. German has given industry 4.0. Japan has given society 5.0, and India has to give to the world agriculture 4.0. It's very important. We have also Amrit Call led up to 100, that is to see new India by the time when India's independent, 100th year of India's independence. And it has got a very important vision, and complementing the macroeconomic level growth focus with a microeconomic level all-inclusive welfare focus, promoting digital economy and fintech, technology-enabled development, energy transition, and climate action, and relying on virtuous cycle from starting from private investment with the public capital investment, helping in crowding in private investment. Very important. And we have sustainable development goals of the UN and Agenda 2030 to provide the future we want. This has got 17 sustainable development goals and 169 targets to be achieved. Leveraging the power of convergence through connecting the dots, agri startups, agri entrepreneurs, and rural innovators. It is very important. And this is being seen from the growth of agri-tech startups in India. 43 startups in 2013 to more than 1,000 startups in 2020, driven by rising in rural internet penetration and a rise in post-harvest and supply chain losses, and a growing number of investors' interest in the sector. And they are now able to solve agricultural problems such as use of outdated equipment, supply chain management, lack of proper infrastructure, and farmers unable to access a wide range of markets with ease. It's very important. And value chain development brings in all the stakeholders engaged in the production system over on a common platform to contribute their best while ensuring fair deal and transparency. Digital health platform, very important. Digital health is a multidisciplinary domain involving many stakeholders, including clinicians, researchers, scientists, with a wide range of experts in healthcare, engineering, social sciences, public health, health economics, and data management. Three most popular domains of digital health technology include telemedicine, wearable technologies, and augmented and virtual reality. Computational simulations, modeling, and machine learning approach can model health-related outcome very much. Digital health platforms continue to emerge and evolve. OneHealth, EcoHealth, and digital health means artificial intelligence and machine learning based platform that aggregate patient data. The patient data here is 5 categories: human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health. And health informatics value chain include human health, plant health, water health, fish health, animal health, soil health, and environmental health. And One Health Eco Health system aims at strengthening the links between all these components. And the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report recognize integrated farm health management, volume 12B, chapter 10. Health informatics uses information technology to organize and analyze health records to improve healthcare outcomes. And health informatics has emerged as an important informatics discipline of late, encompassing the discipline of artificial intelligence, big data analytics, cloud computing, social network, mobility, IoT, web of medical things, blockchain technology, biological computing, geomatics, and biomatics, leading to a new medical treatment and a new diagnosis. And digital health startups are bringing novel technologies such as wearable technology, telemedicine, and genomics and artificial intelligence to Indian healthcare systems. Microservices architecture and APIs for development of public digital platforms are emerging. And I have been, as a person who has been working in this area, and I presented a paper in the Agriculture Science Congress in 2011 at Lucknow, that how to bring in integrated farm health management. That has led to as a recommendation in the doubling farmers' income. The time has come that 85% of the disease which we get comes from animal. If we are able to develop an informatics layer based on GIS technology on a village, having human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fish health, and environmental health, we need not to go for a lockdown in near future. This data, this health data emanating from these verticals can generate, it's amounted to $1 trillion data economy. India has to achieve this. And that's why, I have been associated with a lot of companies who are promoting health informatics, to bring in health informatics network value chain to achieve sustainable development goals through our health platform and reduce disease burden by interconnecting human, animal, and environmental health. The minerals of the soil controls the metabolism of the cells in human, cells in animal, and cells in and the plant. So this is very important. India needs health informatics professionals. Not people are not available to understand the data comes from this discipline, utilizing artificial intelligence, machine learning, and big data analytics. That's why the university has launched an MSc Health Informatics program for biology students to understand health data, these vertical silos, and use blockchain technology, health and artificial intelligence and big data analytics to understand, to bring in digital health informatics value chain effectively. The future is online databases, smart cards, and online doctors. The longer a nation waits to embrace the future, whether through private or public systems, the less prepared it will be for the next inevitable pandemic. COVID-19 has given the world a glimpses of the future. And National Animal, I was involved in establishing 7,032 nodes, at block level to for monitoring of national animal disease. This title is, the project is National Animal Disease Reporting System 2012. It is a very ambitious project, and the whole world was looking for the success of this project from India. And this is in a National Animal Disease Reporting System 2012. And 2 weeks back, we had a very important talk by Dr. Praveen Malik, Animal Husbandry Commissioner of Government of India, talked on NADRS 2012 and beyond. And today's topic is that building One Health ecosystem, role of digital architecture to strengthen health informatics network value chain. And I was very happy to note that the Ministry of Animal Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, and Dairying has launched NADRS 2.0, and it has been started operation. It is operational during COVID-19 pandemic, and the government has adopted One Health concept to practicality. And it is very important to know they also launched a lot of pilot projects, and they had a stakeholders conference on 22nd July 2021, and they also launched a pilot project in the state of Uttarakhand on April 6, 2022. It's very important. And I would like to quote what the Animal Husbandry Commissioner said it during the inauguration of this pilot project. We are happy to move forward with the implementation of One Health framework in India. The pilot project will help capacity building and understanding disease prioritization. 6 interventions have been planned for the implementation of the pilot. The intervention will cover institutionalization and operationalization aspects for better coordination amongst different relevant sectors with the support of state departments and all stakeholders, we look forward to the successful implementation of the project. The country needs a lot of health informatics professionals. This is where the Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology has established a Center for Health Informatics and Computing. By developing OneHealth framework, India will successfully address the need of efficient disease reporting and response coordination, optimum utilization of resources, emergency preparedness, build capability to handle disease of economic and zoonotic importance, and create public awareness on animal diseases of zoonotic and economic significance, and building One Health ecosystem, role of digital architecture, human health, environment, and animal health, and connection, coordination, collaboration, capacity building will lead to One Health. And this is India has put the seed through National Animal Disease Reporting System. It's very important. And building decision support system based on artificial intelligence, and connecting the livestock farmer from the village to the National Animal Disease Reporting System was the only area corridor left out in 2012. And it is very important. Society 5.0, Agriculture 4.0, Animal Husbandry 4.0, and Industry 4.0 will lead to One Health. And this is very important. We also would like to look into the UN framework for One Health. And they were able to synergize their components: animal health, international public health, and poverty alleviation, international development and financing, and food and agriculture, environment, and maternal and child health. They were able to bring in all their organizations together under UN framework for One Health, human, animal, environment. And One Health, the common concept, human health means that is a food security and food safety. Plant nutrition means nutrient cycling and soil fertility. Plant protection, pest and diseases, and soil health, animal health, and plant health, and microbiomes. And it is microbial diversity and multiple functions, environmental health. And this is a very important digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmer loss is very important. And it is a proposed one digital health is a proposed unified structure and conceptual framework of the One Digital Health steering wheel is built around two keys. One is One Health, another is digital health, and three perspectives: individual health and well-being, population and society, and ecosystem, and five dimensions: citizens engagement, education, environment, human and veterinary healthcare, and healthcare industry 4.0. And One Digital Health aim to digitally transform health ecosystems by implementing a systemic health and life sciences approach that takes into account broad digital technology perspective on human health, animal health, and the management of the surrounding environment. With this background, let us now turn to the address by our guest speaker, Dr. Sindura Ganapathi, visiting Principal Scientific Advisor Fellow, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, New Delhi, and Senior Visiting Scholar, Huck Institutes of the Life Sciences, Penn State University, USA, on the topic Health Informatics Network Value Chain Building of One Health Ecosystem, Role of Digital Architecture. This topic will motivate and galvanize the participants. Watching over telecast through facebook.com/Shobhit University India, or youtube.com/Shobhit University in, or linkedin.com/company/Shobhit-University, for motivating them to get inspired to work in the area of health informatics network value chain by establishing an animal health tech startup at Gram Panchayat level. I invite our guest speaker to address the webinar. Before that, I will introduce the speaker to the audience. Mr. Manish. Dr. Sindura Ganapathi is a visiting Principal Scientific Advisor Fellow in the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, and Senior Visiting Scholar at Huck Institute of the Life Sciences, Penn State University, USA. He is currently focused on building national programs in the animal husbandry sector. It spans building comprehensive digital architecture for livestock sector, streamlining regulatory processes, and building an integrated national disease surveillance program, among the others. Dr. Sindura Ganapathi is also currently working with the Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India, to help set up wildlife-focused disease surveillance and disease management programs. He has been engaged in the One Health topic over the last decade, bringing together animal and human health sectors for innovations in various aspects. Dr. Sindura previously worked in Global Health Division at the Gates Foundation in various roles such as Deputy Director, involved in the founding of a team focused on maternal and child health, as Chief of Staff to the President of Global Health Division, and Program Officer setting and managing funding priorities in global health. Prior to this, Dr. Sindura worked in the National Institute of Health, USA, where his research focused on ion channel physiology and inositol phosphate biology. And Dr. Sindura Ganapathi grew up in a rural farming household in Karnataka. His educational background includes degree in veterinary science from Bangalore Veterinary College, Masters in Veterinary Pharmacology from Indian Veterinary Research Institute, IVRI, followed by MBA and PhD in Pharmacology from Penn State University. I welcome Dr. Sindura Ganapathi to the international webinar series on open source digital technology for self-reliant India Atmanirbhar Bharat to address our audience. Health informatics, network, value chain is a very important topic, building on one health ecosystem, role of digital architecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Moniji. That was quite a comprehensive and in-depth background. I don't know if I can add much more than what you have covered already with your background in this area, but I'll still try to do some justice. You're able to hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I will try to put up a slide, and please let me know if that comes up. Okay. Are you able to see the slide, Professor?
It is visible.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
it is visual, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. No, that's very kind of you to invite me to this important forum and on this important topic. As you quite rightly mentioned, there are many aspects of both the problems as well as solutions that we have that we can actually put into practice to address these issues. But it requires a different way of thinking than we have done in the past. Otherwise, we will keep repeating the same mistakes. And how to build on past successes as well as lessons learned. So, just to get the topic going, I believe that the thinking and the way one functions is a product of one's growing up and experiences. So, just to introduce my own accumulated experience that shapes my thinking, this is where I grew up, a rural, in a small village of a few households in rural Karnataka, which is home to some of the richest flora and fauna in the world, the Western Ghats, rich in flora, rich in fauna, as well as rich in diseases that comes with it. The talked about disease called Casanova forest disease that now is people are watching globally is one example, which comes from monkeys to humans and is deadly. And I grew up in a farming household with cattle, buffaloes that my father kept, and they served as the basis for our income, which probably led me to pursue veterinary science. I mean, this is the school that I went to, just to give a flavor of the rural background that shaped my thinking. Now, after finishing veterinary science, I ended up in the other end of the spectrum of a very well endowed medical system, switching both the field of veterinary science to human side as well as studying in some of the well-known universities. But both of these educational experiences shaped my thinking, and I got some of the best out of both this. And especially the rural background was it still carries the way I think, way I work to this day. And for the last 10 years, as Professor Moniji mentioned, I was working in the human health side, even though my background was in the veterinary side, working in maternal child health, bringing digital as well as other technologies, including algorithmic as well as devices, nutritional products, therapeutics, to solve the important issue of maternal and child health programs, issues around the world, where I got to travel, got to meet the R&D ecosystem and fund those and see some of those being turned into solutions in the types of setting that is shown on the left side. And about 18 months ago, I was called by principal scientific advisor to Government of India, at that time Professor Vijayaraghavan, to come back to India and work in his office, which has been quite a rewarding experience. And now you probably have seen Professor Ajay Sood is the who took over recently as principal scientific advisor, and has been a fantastic and enthusiastic sponsor of these areas of work. And for the benefit of the audience, PSA office, Principal Scientific Advisor's office, is primarily tasked with looking at science and technology ecosystem and how we can further the goal of various national priorities, goals of various ministries, by bringing areas of importance that span multiple ministries. Oftentimes, what we talk today ends up spanning more than one ministry, and how to bring all of this together, how to bring the R&D ecosystem, that is both the universities as well as funding agencies as well as private sector together to advance the important goals. And while that may sound very generic, I wanted to make that more real by talking about the areas that I am spending most of my time in the last close to 2 years. And that is one such area is animal husbandry or livestock sector. And on the left side, you see why that's very important. One of the largest populations in the world of various species, whether it is cattle, buffalo, sheep, goats, or poultry, has been quite important for growth of the economy, in terms of being the net exporter, one of the few areas showing consistent growth, but at the same time stop supporting the bottom of the economic pyramid with more than 280 million farmers deriving livelihood. And that assumes even more significance when we think about climate change and all the unreliability of weather patterns, and how to keep the sustenance of economic production going, where animal husbandry assumes even more significance. However, there are many challenges with the sector. It's largely unorganized, fragmented. Oftentimes, the schemes operate in silos, and there is not yet a mature system in many of the aspects, including regulatory system that I was involved in streamlining, which has been a very satisfying experience working with multiple ministries, including drug controller, to put together a system that supports innovation. And other issues are still limited private sector participation, various reasons for that. And big part of the challenge is various administrative operations are still paper based, and which limits use of data in both local operations, how to solve the problem, as well as national decision making, how you launch a program that addresses the entire country and supports the global be part of the global economy. So just to reiterate, I feel like animal husbandry is one of those very few areas where both the macroeconomic indicators that are closely watched by various economists exports, GDP growth, all of that is very closely linked to the other end of the spectrum, which is livelihood of the bottom of the pyramid, as I mentioned before. And when you invest in one, it helps you with the other, whether it is employment generation or poverty elevation or so. There are very few sectors that come close to this level of value in return on investment. So it makes sense to invest in this area. And formation of a dedicated ministry in 2019 by the current government shows the importance and significance that has been attached to this area, which I feel has led to a lot of the programs that I am going to talk about, which will hopefully transform it for the future. One such example is National Digital Livestock Mission, and this was started more than a year ago. And our office of the PSA has worked very closely with the ministry, the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, as well as NDDB, National Dairy Development Board, to help set up this. And what this involves is, at the basis, it's the animals and the farmers being an entity that forms the basis of this entire structure, with animals being uniquely identified, serves as the foundation for all the programs. And digital interfaces, mobile applications or front-end applications for both the farmers, because most of the farmers are moving into smartphones. Yeah, and most of them, those who don't have smartphones, at least have a feature phone. And moving all of our frontline workers, whether it's veterinarians, veterinarians, and technicians, into mobile-based front-end applications, and all the back-end systems that need to support this entire local operation, whether it is APIs, information management in the cloud, data standards, federated data architecture, and once you have the data, how to build analytics, all of that, with very close focus on interoperability, and most importantly, opening up this sector to the markets, whether it is small, medium, or large operations, and basically make this a thriving enterprise. And throughout this, there is an ecosystem design thinking that has been applied, borrowing lessons and the successes of various such prior programs, whether it is Aadhaar or UPI, and some of the groups like Aspirit, which were involved in conceiving such programs, have been very closely brought to work closely to shape this and help with this. And stakeholder consultations across the spectrum has happened and still happening. And the goal is to create multiple programs to be operating on this. Only then an ecosystem will survive. When it is one dimensional, it requires too much resource and likely will fall apart. I'll come to how that is being designed, including how direct beneficiary transfer can happen to farmers through these digital means, how to build future looking analytics, whether it is disease modeling or AML based, like Professor Moni mentioned, and how to make this over time a sustainable model. And while you can all look at it in terms of the blueprint by just searching for NDLM blueprint, you should be able to get the access to the entire vision and the blueprint document. There has been a lot of progress made in terms of ground operations. So it's not just a on the paper initiative anymore. The major operations of tagging the animal with unique ID by the ministry and NDDB closely supporting it has progressed quite well, with more than 99% cattle and buffaloes being tagged now with the unique ID. Currently, it's an ear tag with a barcode and a number. But down the line, it opens up possibilities of biometrics such as muzzle-based ID that many startups are actually working on, which will transform the ability to go beyond physical tags, and similar to how human side is Aadhaar number is linked to biometry, and much more tamper-proof. And design and development of core architecture, or the software stack, is being designed currently by TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, who have been procured through government procurement mechanisms. And as we speak, entire team is working on designing it, testing it, and to test pilots in Uttarakhand and Karnataka are in place, so that you learn from field issues in a very close loop, the so-called agile development methodology, before you take things nationally. And also how to move away from move into the future of data management, in terms of cloud space, setting that up, configuring it, and migrating the existing information. All of that is in progress. So it's almost like a beehive if you are part of this operation, which is has been quite fun to see, and rewarding and learning experience, being part of this. Now, this I won't spend a lot of time in the innards of the technical architecture. It's not my background, but I have learned along the way, and there are people who really have depth in this area that have helped in shaping this in a way such that we create an ecosystem that has interface with various stakeholders, whether it is with the field or whether it is the market, and how the architecture is designed such that it becomes more of an ecosystem rather than one-off solution. And another way of showing this is how it links to various services, whether farmers being able to manage all of their animal records in one place, and that animal record gets updated with each interaction. So nobody needs to fill in each time that vaccination was done or treatment was done. So with each interaction, it automatically updates, so that it doesn't require human intervention, but also is reliable and real time, that has a value for the farmer. For example, when a farmer sells an animal, how the animal is sold is going to be also of a matter, because it's now uniquely identified with records of treatment or productivity available, so that it becomes unlocked as whole of India as one connected market, rather than limited to a small geography as it is currently. And also on the service provider side, veterinarians are paravets, how their ability to handle more services and spend less time on reporting and paper-based reporting, to cut down and increase their efficiency, is being thought through in the design of the solution itself. And to manage all of this, there is in the as part of the design, a special for a purpose vehicle is being thought about, because if you think about all the operations that come about when you think about the entirety of the ecosystem and the data that comes through it, and the need for keeping up with the evolution of the software as well as the technology, it requires a dedicated entity, and that has been thought through on how it should be put in place. Now, as I mentioned, it's meant to support not just one-off operation, whether it is disease control or breeding, but the entirety of the livestock architecture. And that goes through beyond disease or product traceability, or accountability in administrative operations, and things that we haven't thought through today, that may come in future because we have built the system. As people who designed UPI probably haven't thought through every scenario by which we are actually using it. And that is the idea here, is that you set up an ecosystem and let it evolve with time. So I will go through a few examples of how this will come in picture and actually be operationalized. And the reason why I've been spending more time on just the animal husbandry side, because it is good to go through one thing in deep and then link to other sectors, whether it is human sectors or wildlife related sectors. Because one of the challenges of One Health as an area that I have seen in the past is it stays very superficial, feel good statements about how various sectors need to cooperate and link, and very hard to operationalize. So I thought I'll spend more time on one sector and how it can take a step change in the positive direction, and how that could be, how those lessons could be applicable to others. And I'll come back to the One Health area through this way of outlining solving an ecosystem issue. For example, now let's move into product traceability. India exports about 25,000 crore worth of buffalo meat, and currently, and that is just one example. There are various other livestock products that are exported, but currently there is no product traceability that links from all the way from animals to the consumers. So how, with now the digital stack in operation, with the animal become identified uniquely, it now opens up the possibility of blockchain based traceability system in place, so that there is confidence on the consumer side where the livestock product comes from and how it was managed, and continuous improvement towards it becoming more organic or disease free or antibiotic free, or various other aspects. But it also helps unlock newer markets that are far more profit yielding, that should flow back to the farmers. So at the end of the day, it's at the farmer level we need to see whether there is a realized value for them. Only then things will sustain and grow forward. Similarly, on milk side, currently the milk goes through various collection streams and gets mixed and gets turned into products. It's a bit more challenging than an individual animal that can be traced, but still there are ideas and solutions that are being currently thought through. India can actually unlock a lot of export potential with its buffalo milk products, because it's one of the there are no other countries that can compare to the amount of milk and dairy system that buffaloes generate in India, more than half. And that's a unique product that we haven't fully realized. And this can allow blockchain-based traceability system on top of the NDLM ecosystem, can actually allow for such value-added products, both for domestic market as well as for export market. And there are companies now, startups, that are working on this, both on developing traceability system based on blockchain, as well as turning them into pilots with current stakeholders, whether it is cooperatives or research institutions. And the other example on how this could help in breeding, because productivity per animal in India is still not as quick and fast paced as we would like to. And one of the challenge is the breeding program currently is open loop and not technology driven as it should be. The way it works is most of the procurement happens through these agencies for semen, and the way their bulls that produce the semen are selected is through traditional methods, which take many years for improvement cycle, and also not that reliable. And then when it gets to the field, the semen is administered to the animal in heat on the farmer's doorstep largely, but there isn't a clear ability for a breeding program by the states to plan it such that appropriate bulls semen goes into appropriate cows. And also the data is paper based reporting and aggregate, it's not at the individual level. So the The idea is that when you select bulls, you assume certain productivity. And if the data from the field doesn't come back to see whether what you selected worked or not, what you have is an open loop. As a result, progress doesn't happen, and there is no iterative cycle of continuous improvement. And this rampant misuse or abuse of crossbreeding in the way that wasn't intended also has been leading to dilution of our indigenous breeds, which is a great wealth of our country. And it has become quite hard now when you go around looking for good quality, pure breeds of various indigenous breeds that are close to 50 breeds. And as a result, we are at risk of losing one of the most critical aspect of our system, that is germplasm. And how does it now change if we think about the future? So now, introduction of instead of the traditional way of selection of bulls, now let's look at the what could be changed or what is changing now. Instead of traditional selection, there is now genomic selection available, which is based on both analytics and molecular biology. I won't go into details of that, which is a field in its own, but it tremendously cuts down the ability to see whether a given animal will have good productivity and disease control
Dr.
potential.
Ganapathi, can you put the
Yeah,
previous slide? Can you put the previous slide immediately? You know, it you change it.
yeah.
Okay, just one minute. Okay, good. Carry on.
Shall I go ahead?
Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And so, as soon as a calf is born with this genomic selection, molecular biology based approach, you will be able to have a much better sense of whether that will have the productivity potential as well as disease control potential. Because we don't want to just increase productivity and that animal is highly susceptible to our local diseases. Um, and then technology such as in vitro fertilization is being prioritized by the ministry, and even future in the future will likely be available at the doorstep for the farmers. That will have huge potential. And newer technologies are coming on how embryos could be selected and multiplied. And also there is newer technologies in increasing the female proportion of female calves born, because you don't need as many male cows to sustain a dairy system. And that's called sex semen. And introduction of these kind of technologies are currently being rolled out, and the expansion of those will have huge potential for transforming our dairy system, including preservation and improvement of our indigenous breeds. But coming to where the digital ecosystem comes into picture, now the semen shows up at the farmer's doorstep. The idea is that one farmer should have the awareness, knowledge of what is good for their animals. That's one, and that is going to be part of the extension, and it should be available in a customized way on their mobiles and fingertips. And since the animals are also uniquely identified, the individual productivity metrics and breed characteristics, all of that could accumulate over time and serve with that customization. And then, instead of paper-based reporting, what is being currently planned is every time an insemination is done, the straw will be scanned, and it is linked to the animal, so that there is no need for reporting. If the person just field operatives just go about their job, and that alone gives highly fine-grained, rich data for planning the breeding activities in a state or a region, by bringing the data from the field, so that it creates this closed loop and continuous improvement system. So you make a prediction, and the data from the field comes back, and you adjust your prediction and selection, so that with each year it gets better and better. And more importantly, farmers now are able to manage all their animal records view availability and details of solutions, and also performance metrics of the staff, because now that is going to be much more available, and including payment, because that is also now with the launch of e-rupee system, which I would encourage you to look up, which is going to transform how direct beneficiary transfers are done or subsidies are given. That will empower the farmer further. Now, these all these things I already mentioned, where enabling entry of private sector also will be more facilitated with this system, and giving farmer enhanced choices, and a scientific breeding program that is customizable to local needs, which is very critical because India's spread of various climatic conditions require more customization than one size fits the whole of the country type approach. Now, coming to disease surveillance, which is the crux of the discussion these days with the COVID pandemic, and the need is much more clear for general public. How are we thinking of building it based on the lessons that we have learned from the past, and how do we do things differently? And a few things that we would like to change and currently is being put in practice is moving away from disease reporting as an activity asked of field professionals, because they don't have time. It is true of human health side, where I have extensively traveled and talked to, which is the exact same issue. Anytime you ask people to fill in a form on the patient they have just seen, it adds work, it adds errors, it adds biases, and oftentimes it may not get done also. And also, data, when it is unidimensional, is not as predictive and useful. So how do you enrich the data across different dimensions? So that's another area. And also bring in silos of various data together, for which this area of data standards become very important. And I speak about this in every opportunity I get, where we need data standards across the board, so that data can be combined, analytics can be built. uh, AI/ML is a magic word, but they cannot actually solve the issue when the data is messy and encoded differently, and in various miscellaneous platforms of some digital, some paper based, and so on. So data standards become very important backbone on which this entire thing sits. Now let's see how that could look down the line. I also forgot to mention part of the NDLM ecosystem is also creating call centers, so that farmers are able to call the helpline and request services, and that creates a ticket and a log, and ensures closure. But also that is going to be linked with the new initiative of building mobile veterinary units that is being prioritized by the ministry, and more than 400 mobile veterinary units are now already shipped to the states. But the call center operating system is also designed in such a way that it interfaces with every other system, so that information flows through seamlessly. So now, some of the factors that you need for a robust disease surveillance system, if you think about it, one is animals need to be uniquely identified. Otherwise, you will only get aggregate information on disease emergence. And you need to provide the farmers multiple channels to seek care, and they all need to interface with each other seamlessly. And regardless of which format the request came from, the service should be rendered, and data is extracted. And also moving the frontline workers to online transactions, that is only possible when you think about it from the user perspective, and how the veterinarian's job is made easier by building this. It should not be designed in such a way so as to ensure compliance and ensure data extraction. That is useful for the administrators, that is not useful for the veterinarians. So when you are in the field, you are a technician or a veterinarian, you have multiple pressures. How to make their life easy is when how you can actually ensure adoption. And that is the thought process that is going to designing these. And there are various networks of diagnostic labs which further need to be strengthened, but also digitally connected. And information need to live in the future format where large amount of such data can be handled and analytics can be built on a useful standard. Now, what does it
Just
look like? Yeah,
go to the previous one. I was looking for. Okay, good. Okay.
I'll try to pause every when I finish each slide.
Yeah, that's very good.
So now, what does that look like? Right, so now your the idea is not to build a disease surveillance for the sake of disease surveillance. Idea is to build a better system that enables better care for farmers needs, supporting farmers needs. That's the goal. And data and information is a byproduct of a successful transaction. Now let's say farmer, when their animal is sick, they say my animal is sick, not eating or having diarrhea, whatnot, and they use various means, like I mentioned before, to seek care. And each of that tidbit or metadata is a source of information. It's messy, it is not confirmatory, but it is a very useful information, set of information when extracted. And while they are going about their routine and daily life. Similarly, every time veterinarians go to the field, make a probable diagnosis, give e-prescription out, offer a treatment, that offers the next level of information or metadata. That is a little more confirmatory because it is coming from an expert. And every time they submit a sample that requires certain assay to be done to the local nearby diagnostic lab, and the goal of the diagnostic lab is to not to supply data to the cloud but to give the information back to the veterinarian in a timely manner so that treatment can be altered. If it is a mastitis issue, whether the antibiotic that the veterinarian is thinking to use, does it have antibiotic susceptibility, so that wrong antibiotic is not used, which wastes money as well as perpetuates antimicrobial resistance, as well as immense loss to the farmer and animal health. So every time a diagnostic lab, since they are going to be now also part of the ecosystem and with laboratory information system being implemented, and the results come back to farmer veterinarians mobile or even potentially farmers mobile interface in terms of results in timely manner, but the data can be extracted, which is far more confirmatory since it is coming from diagnostic labs. Since all of them are now geotagged, you can have pretty good spatiotemporal resolution. And there are other sources of data. When we run zero surveillance program, for many diseases like foot and mouth disease, there is a large scale zero surveillance program being implemented. Hundreds of thousands of samples are collected and analyzed through a network of these labs. And NDLM has already now created a portal for all these surveillance based data capture. And from now onwards, it will go through that system. So you should be able to link and ask what was the prevalence over the last 2 years or 3 years and build visualization and analytics, because they're all going to be in a common standard going forward. And also we need to add additional tools. I'll come back to those: environmental sampling and use of avatars as a source of information, because they actually are a catchment area. It's a way to capture information in their catchment area. And also, with all this information in place, you can actually think of adding contextual based information as well, like a media report that something is happening. And that's where AI/ML type analytics can come to use. But they are only useful when it is having other set of information that I'm showing here. Just messy media reports alone will not give you the resolution and predictability on taking action. So moving forward, now I'm coming back to the original thesis of how we can build a system that is interconnected. Now you can think of how to link these data sets to human data sets or wildlife disease data sets, because we have multiple diseases that are zoonotic, whether it is tuberculosis, whether it is um, foot and mouth disease that goes between wildlife and animal husbandry systems. Now, having a deeper and more clear way of formatting the setup and an ecosystem allows one to link to the other side. If each of these system itself is messy and not designed for to be digital and field information based, it would be a far cry to say that we will have one health system that links everything to everything. Now that's coming to the thinking of how to build a unified system where it should be purpose specific, purpose based, rather than saying that we will link all these databases. There should be a reason for why that linking will benefit. It should benefit the field personnel, whether it is a veterinarian or a medical doctor or a field director of a protected area in wildlife side. And it should also have certain utility for the administrator for better planning of control programs or better designing of future disease control programs, which oftentimes happen in absence of good quality data today. Now, as I mentioned, within this animal husbandry side, the labs are now being linked with a single portal, and standard operating procedures or SOPs are being harmonized, because if you do use different ways, then it cannot be combined, and it also leads to confusing interpretation when you link them all together. And designing of these front end applications are happening, as I mentioned, and some of the call centers are already operational, are being linked on a pilot basis. And especially through our office of the PSA, with a keen support from PSA sir himself, instituting disease modeling and environmental surveillance is happening, which I believe will have profound consequence in the way we use resources. Resources are going to be limited, so how to use analytics based targeting and use of that resource for a given disease control, whether it is foot and mouth or whether it is tuberculosis. Having capacity within India of disease modelers that have depth and students pursuing that as a career would be of huge value as a country. And also, environmental surveillance is a very important tool which allows you to actually get both real time as well as believable information, like how polio is using that for sewage sampling, by mapping the sewage system and taking sewage samples and using molecular biology to see if the virus is being shed, is far cheaper than going and sampling kids in an entire city. And that type of approach is useful and already has shown value in multiple human diseases like typhoid, cholera, and now SARS-CoV-2. And I think it has huge value in animal husbandry system as well as wildlife system, to look at spread of whether it is foot and mouth disease or multiple others, such diseases like anthrax or brucellosis. But how to actually use and how to build a sampling frame and what kind of technology to be used is where we need to now spend our energy, and that's the current effort ongoing from our office. Now, putting this all together, this is my final slide actually. Now you can think of these compartments. There is human health compartment, animal husbandry system as a compartment, with various species, more major species as well as minor species like yak, mithun, and also pet animals. You could add, and then there is wildlife system compartments, which has both captive compartment, which is zoos and other such contained system to manage wild species, and then there is free range. And I'm just only showing these three. You could keep adding it theoretically to make it broad, adding aquaculture, adding crops, adding various other dimensions. So for the purpose here, I'm adding these three because they follow similar value chains and share similar diseases. Um, so now you have diseases that go across compartments, like foot and mouth disease that goes between wildlife and animal husbandry system. And then you have diseases that go across that stay only in one individual system, like polio within human health system. But then you also, on the other spectrum, you have rabies that transcends all three compartments, but mostly goes in one dimensional manner because humans are so-called dead end hosts. They don't send it back. But other diseases like tuberculosis can go every which way. And a disease like KFD, Casnor Forest disease, goes between wildlife and human compartment. And these diseases go through certain means of transmission, whether it is vectors like ticks or mosquitoes, or direct contact, or through so-called fomites or soil systems. As you can see, diseases don't respect the administrative boundaries or the boundaries that we create in our that we have created for practical purposes. And we have built ministries, we have built programs around it, and budget flows are according to that. So while the diseases are far more horizontal, our system and programs to handle those are far more vertical. And that's where we need to spend more time now thinking about how we could actually bridge that vertical system to talk to each other both at the local level as well as at the national and international level. And it's not easy. It's easier said than done. If it was very easy, it would have already been done. And in my extensive looking around, no country has fully resolved this. And COVID has shown how critical that is. So now there is more and more interest in figuring out how to do this. That falls into how to solve this is not just in sampling, that is more horizontal, how to collect the data that I showed as an example within animal husbandry system, how to bring in technologies and tools that go across, and when it is useful and shown value in one system, how to bring it without too much lag, which often happens, including the analytics, whether it is disease modeling, spatial mapping, because that is very powerful in targeting resources, but we haven't fully utilized that to its full potential. But most important, structures that are now currently vertical, how to make them go horizontal, which requires building the incentive systems. The people on the ground should feel incentivized that there should be something in it that makes their life better, or some other way of incentives that allows them to behave in a way that allows us to link these vertical systems. And that is the most important aspect this whole One Health approach needs to think about. And finally, I have mixed both routine diseases, the diseases of routine nature, whether it is rabies, FMD, they are endemic, and every day you have to deal with them. And then there is the other spectrum, diseases of pandemic nature, like the COVID and avian influenza. how to handle those. So there we need to think about pandemic system or pandemic diseases system preparedness should build on the endemic disease system. You cannot actually build a one-off surveillance program for future pandemic and hire a bunch of people and tell them to keep looking for the disease, because one, that won't sustain, and second, people will lose interest, and third, it actually doesn't build the overall system. So we need to think of pandemic preparedness as built on top of other routine disease control systems, the endemic, so-called endemic disease system. And that also is operating within the healthcare system or our routine system. So we need to think about, for example, you need the hospitals, you have the forest guards that are operating across the country, you have veterinarians dealing with a whole bunch of other issues in the animal husbandry system. So we need to think of all these as this connected, where at the base is your system, whether it is a healthcare system for humans or forestry or wildlife systems for on the wildlife side. And on top of that, within that, nested within that, is your disease control program. So, and on top of that, comes pandemic preparedness. So, if we are careful in building these with the understanding of how they operate and link to each other, we will be able to make sure that the resources that go into it strengthen each other in a continuous way rather than weaken each other. Or we also can minimize them standing on their own, which makes it very easy to fall apart when we lose focus. And this is an area that our office of the PSA, is taking up very seriously. There are many One Health activities happening across various ministries, and working to see how it could be supported better, enabled, and linked, so that India can show the way forward on how to have a One Health disease control program that actually allows us to control diseases of endemic nature, as well as be better prepared for future pandemics. With that, I would like to end my talk, and thank you. And I don't know, Professor Moni, I'm going to stop sharing my slides and open to taking any questions or having a discussion.
Thank you very much. And as a person who was involved when I was in service in building up systems from 512 districts way back in 87, I was the project director for building district information system program of NIC district, wherein I, during the period of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi as the prime minister, uh, I built up 28 sectoral database development programs and a comprehensive village level information system. At that time, technology was not available. We had only Fox based technology. But we're strong in information system. When I was given that opportunity, I thought that it's a godsend opportunity to help the rural areas by giving technology in various areas, various systems. And animal husbandry is one of the component, fisheries is another component, and agriculture is another component. Starting from 87 onwards, Disney agriculture, Disney animal husbandry, Disney fisheries. And 1995, when I was given an agriculture sector, total sector from National Informatics Center to CES national perspective. Then I thought that, on that time I had the recommendation of the Rio 8 Summit, Chapter 10, Agenda 21, and gave a very good insight. I thought that as a technocrat, I should operationalize in India. So I had a big conference in the Navigyan Bhavan. I had the conference, National Conference on Informatics for Sustainable Development. So through that, we prepared an IT blueprint for agriculture sector, even before national e-governance programs came in the country. We asked for 3 to 6% of the agriculture budget to be earmarked for IT in agriculture. And then 99 September, January, I put up a proposal to the ministry, and that time animal husbandry and dairying is a part of the department in Ministry of Agriculture, and say that animal production and health informatics network and fisheries informatics network. You see, 99. I'm alive. 87 to what put it that, and then and the proposal was put it up. I presented in the veterinary council of meeting, which was organized in Delhi, and it was a big thing at that time. I was involved in bringing in ICR networking, and then after this is that Department Minister of Agriculture is the first ministry to have the DACNet, the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation Network. It's the first e-governance program. And then that time the NDA is lost to 5 governments, state governments, because of the onion price. Data was not available. Onion price, due to onion price, they asked me that you are since you are the Deputy Director General, you are working for the agricultural system, how to go about it. That's how the AgmarkNet project came. It was visualized in my office. It was approved by the Department of Agriculture, and we were able to network 3,500 wholesale mandis out of 7,000 from 99 to 2008, having a big database on 400 agriculture commodities. And that was a very big realization. I asked the Ministry of Electronics at that time that you make AgmarkNet as the national e-governance program on agriculture, bringing in what is needed in the market, let the farmer produce it, market-led extension. And they have got their own way of looking at it, and they announced national e-governance in agriculture sector, which is 12 cluster programs. Even now all the reports are available. SRS document is available, submitted to the ministry in 2012. Till today it has not seen the light of the day. And there is also livestock management, and then NADRS came, and it was a very big program. I was very happy that at that time the program of national district level disease monitoring, which was operational by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, it didn't give much benefit. When this project was being discussed at the chairmanship of Secretary Expenditure, and the representative from the Ministry of Health and Welfare, he was telling that our program is not successful, then how this is going to be successful? It has got an operational problems. But the intent is that this is necessary, and that's how the program was sanctioned, and we put it with the Dynamics 360, Microsoft Dynamics program, so that at the grassroots level the officers will be trained to build up the systems. It is like is a plug and play. They don't need a strong programmer. And we shown to the entire ministry, ICR and block level training and so on and so forth, that this is how we should build up, and also gave a plan for networking all laboratories, and also a plan for networking all the associated institutions and the NGOs, KVKs, district level offices, and milk collection centers, where most of the milk collection centers were networked. So that is a program which I put it, and I also asked for something like another 500 crores between 2012 to 2018. And nothing was coming through. I wrote a letter to and that time I retired from the Government of India as the Director General in National Informatics Center, and joined the Ministry of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering startup. That when I was seeing that from 87 to 2013, I was able to see the rural distress. I thought that as a former IITian technocrat, I should bring technology to the rural area. That's why these 5 centers of excellence were set up to promote IT in agriculture, agribusiness, and agriculture allied subject, and training the SMEs and health components. And when I was appointed as a chief advisor in the Ministry of Agriculture to help the double informants income by committee by 2022 committee, and I was associated as the group leader for 2 volumes, then I thought this is the right time that we should bring the achievements and the accumulated knowledge of bringing in agricultural informatics, together in the Doubling Farmers Income Committee report, 7 mission mode project, which I recommend. And then, the one value chain is health informatics network value chain. And also after COVID-19, it has proved it. And with now you have the tools, technology. When technology was not available, we talked about information system development. But in India, unfortunately, everybody wants to think individually and in a silo, and they don't want to get networked. They are finding for leakage, that how it can collapse. But as a person, I thought that I should not leave it. Then that's why after retiring from the National Informatics Center, I took an university platform. Let us motivate the rural students to get into this discipline, to have an agriculture as a preferred option, a profession for them, and employment. And I was able to see that simple thing as a mathematics student. I did my MSc Mathematics and MTech Computer Science from IIT Chennai 76-78 batch. And I thought that agriculture is an unstructured problem. And artificial intelligence and the decision support system should be built in for agriculture system. But unfortunately, neither IITs nor NITs, not IIITs, not engineering colleges never bother about to use agriculture as a use case. Whereas all international companies in IT, they were started using agriculture as a use case. Today you have technologies. Now people say that national strategy for artificial intelligence. Where is the data? You can't apply artificial intelligence on statistics. That's why when I saw that DISNIC in 1987 and National Animal Disease Reporting System, previously 512 districts, now 738 locations, and once again Government of India program, and I thought that is a big godsend opportunity to build, network the farmers. Telemedicine is available in human health, but telemedicine is not available for animal health. So we should bring it, and that's how those whole program NADRS 1.0 afterwards it was visualized it. But then I thought that this is even when I proposed in the National Agriculture Science Congress, I put it, which the agriculture National Academy of Agriculture Science brought out my article. I proposed there has to be a National Center for Farm Health Management Studies, 2011. It has to be studied, and then it has to be networked appropriately, this integrated approach. Today you have 6 crores soil health, 16 crores soil health card, and you have animal health data, plant health data, water health data, fisheries health data, animal health data. And on a village level, nobody applies GIS technology to study this data. This is where that I thought that integrated farm health management is very essential. The Doubling Farmers Income Committee report recommended it. But now you see that 2018, this proposal has been submitted to the government. It still has not seen the light of the day. They are setting up committees. What the Ministry of Agriculture, Niti Aayog, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology should have done, they should have taken the 7 mission mode programs, start a pilot project. Professor Moni is still alive, a man who is working from 87 onwards, and he should have been taken it. This is how in this country that we have enough potentials, and these below district level, nobody wants to know what is really happening. And even voiced it that we have 6,500 blocks, agriculture offices, animal husbandry offices, fisheries offices, rural development offices. Let them train them. They are the Facebook for the farmers. They don't know. Nobody even know a register which consists of the farmers' assets. And land records computerization is going on from 1985 onwards. Grassroots level utilization of land records is not taking place. We have pilot projects, but it's use of that one for bringing out strategies is not happening. That's why the 7 mission mode project has been put it. If this is operationalized, I told the Honorable Defense Minister and Agriculture Minister during the COVID farmer strike, I was invited on 15th October 2020, one of the 15 experts. I told him, sir, when I was trying to do that, there is no Farm Act. Now with the doubling farmers' income recommendation, and that time 1995, there is no support. Ministry say that Deputy Director Moni wants to do in IT and agriculture, let us support him. Now you have Farm 3 Act, farm laws, and 7 mission mode programs. This can support 2.25 lakh agri-tech startups, one per every gram panchayat. Still, agriculture sector is the only employment opportunity. 50% it gives job opportunity. And why can't we create 2.25 lakh agri-tech startups, one per gram panchayat, to help 14.5 crores operational holders? And both Defense Minister and Agriculture Minister listened. Other 14 experts are also saying, Professor Moni, we should have a further discussion with you. That is 2020. Now this is 2022. And they see, content is there. We have to generate intent. And that is very important. And that's why I thought that, okay, COVID situation has taught a big lesson. I have an internet connectivity. I have a platform, laptop, and I have a network as a former Director General, worked from the grassroots level. Let me generate 2 webinars during the COVID situation. So one is a national webinar series on doubling farmers' income. I started with my fingers crossed. And another one is technology, open source digital technology. Bring in NRIs and experts from within India. Let us discuss about it, focused on rural India. And I felt very happy that people like you, people from different parts of the country, they said that Professor Moni is given a red carpet welcome to bring our ideas, work on it. And today many startups are working. They signed an MOU with us. And I launched an MTech level agricultural informatics program to train agriculture science and allied science graduates to understand technology and be tech in agricultural informatics, like agriculture economics and agriculture statistics. For the last 10 years, I have been promoting and so on and so forth. Everybody wants to become a clerk in government. Agriculture science people wants to become an agriculture officer in bank and government. They don't want to do farming. And then the thing is that they don't want to understand technology. They don't want to adapt to technology. And you see the KV case, once again, the same situations. And nobody wants to even make it. Why farmers should throw away their products into the street? Why can't we produce what the world wants? And this is where that, I thought that it's very important. And then Center for Agribusiness Management Studies to work for MBA in Agribusiness Management, to work for one digitalized agriculture commodity value chain per district, working with NGOs from the university. Let us show the result. And then e-governance program. Everybody thinks that by creating a website is the e-governance. None of the government department website signed by the Secretary to the Government of India. They put a disclaimer column. And it is today is the website is the Facebook. And if it is not signed by the Secretary to the Government of India, then who will put the appropriate data? When he puts signs it, everybody it will go down their spinal cord. Everything will be neat and clean and factual data. There is no disclaimer column. And then the thing is that that we have 63 million SMEs. China has vacated the space. Industry 4.0 announced till today, from 2014 till today, Industry 4.0 has not tapped the door of SMEs. So I thought it is very important. I worked on a program on MBA in Industry 4.0, which I have been voicing from 2004 onwards. I delivered a talk in MIT, Chennai, Chrombat. At that time, I called the digital SMEs. I told them that we should work for, we have got 3,500 SMEs, urban clusters, 18,000 rural clusters and KVICs. Everybody should be digitalized. But now Industry 4.0, somebody asked me, I told him that this is what is needed to be done. And Industry 4.0, let us train CEOs of SMEs. and it's a must. And that's what European Union is doing it. But today, everybody wants to have an event. So when I delivered a talk in the Tamil Nadu Tiny Industries, Small Scale Industries Association, I told them Tamil Nadu was forefront previously. Coimbatore is a city for industrial innovation. Now they have become a trade center for Chinese products. So let us train SMEs. See was SMEs what the European Union is doing it, and I have launched an MBA in Industry 4.0. We have an MSMEs, we have National Skill Industries Development Corporations, and 63 million SMEs, MSMEs, and they are not globalized, still digitalized today. The distance, either a mixie which is being manufactured in Coimbatore or Seoul, the distance has to be zero as far as global availability is concerned, and that's not happening. And that's why I thought that for rural India to shine, roar and smile, which the article I wrote it in 2004, rural India to shine, smile and roar, and it is very essential. Agriculture and health and SMEs are very important, and informatics and e-governance. That's why for 5 centers of excellence, I thought that we have to do a rural renaissance, informatics solutions development. That's why I didn't call informatics development studies. I put it as Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application. MTech in informatics and e-governance standards. No computer science, computer application. Teach our students on standards. We got more than 3,500 IT standards from Western countries. Nobody is teaching standards. Nobody participates in standards, development from India. Then how startups will be successful? Products will be successful. And then I thought that MTech in informatics with e-governance standards is very important. I launched it to train people. But the thing is that Niti Aayog has not even, they must be watching it. They are not in a position to look into this type of grassroots level problems. And second is that health computing is very important. Right? Data. India can be this is a $1 trillion data economy. Data comes and nobody analyzes it. And that's why I thought that let us pick up health biology students. 50% of the students will be girl students. Train them on artificial intelligence and data analytics, blockchain technology, and big data analytics, and prepare another human resources professionals from rural area on health informatics. And this is where I thought that let the health informatics network value chain as a program. Let us bring it, and I put it animal health informatics network value chain, plant health informatics network value chain, fisheries informatics network value chain, soil health informatics network value chain, and so on and so forth. This is a $1 trillion economy, and we should achieve it. And that's why ARDO, African Asian Rural Development Organization, has joined with us. And they said that, Professor Moni, what all the good things which is happening, we will piloting it in 16 African countries and 15 Asian countries. And I'll be very happy that I would like to work with you, Dr. Sindura Ganapathi. And also, I will also come and meet the principal scientific advisor. And let us work together. This is what the country needs it. And we have to do wake-up call and create 2.25 lakh agri-tech startups to help the agriculture and allied sector. And rural India needs entrepreneurs, needs managers and entrepreneurs, startups, innovators, not social entrepreneurs. And I would like to quote what the chairman of Hindustan Unilever said it in 2012 in their shareholders meeting. And that time he said it, that rural India can give $1.8 trillion to the existing Indian GDP. At that time, if technology is adopted, rural management takes place. That we are not in a position to do this natural resource utilization in the rural area. See that's what I said it, that even this doubling farmers income committee report also talks about it. Digitalization of agricultural resources information system. Today you talked it, every animal is being tagged with a number, and this is more important. And the same manner, every farm has to be tagged, and there has to be a farm-wise database, farmer-wise database. I have put it need for national database. As a chief advisor IT, I put up the note to the Ministry of Agriculture, Additional Secretary IT at that time in the Department of Agriculture. And until unless we have a comprehensive database on a farm and a farmer for the last 25 years, what is the real problem they have it? That's how that agriculture is not an overnight problem. It is not solving an accounting problem. It is a development scenario, and this has to be studied, modeled, and over a period with the data which is coming statistically taken. Now with the strong smartphones, the data can be collected. I was very happy when you put it that how now the data can be instantaneously can be made. Let the data keep on coming. Let the modeling, let it go to different places. Let the model be built up. Let the model be educated through the learning process, and then let it needed whenever the people want it. And this is how our farmer, dairy farmer, livestock farmer, fisheries farmer, and the plant, agriculture farmer to become an e-farmer, artificial intelligence-led farmer. It is what is necessary. And then since we have India has got 365 days of sunshine, 127 agroclimatic zone, and we can provide food to the whole world. And we have agriculture alone produces $19 billion worth agriculture waste. We don't get them into wealth. And then in my district, I come from Kanyakumari district, Tamil Nadu. We produce more than 25 varieties of banana. These bananas, they wanted to export it to America, but they don't want to export it to Delhi. We don't have a strong, efficient national trading systems. And that itself is India is a very big market. And I thought that, you take, for example, we have 13 states are producing banana. South, we use it for vegetable purposes and so on and so forth. After cutting the fruit, each banana plant can give 50 rupees. We have 265 crores plant being cut every year. You multiply 265 crores into 50 rupees is equivalent to 13,000 crores per annum. It's being wasted. And it can give a fiber. From fiber, it can be currency note can be printed, and it can be plywood pipe. Plywood can be used, and then it can be fibers and various other products, and that can generate large scale employment. Assam is the largest Asia for market for banana. This is a distress sale. And this is what, I thought that let us also try to work on, that agriculture waste to wealth. It's very important. It can generate a lot of employment opportunities. Like dairy schemes. Nobody is interested to operationalize dairy scheme. That's why 2 months back, when the former president of BAFE, Dr. Narayana Hegde, the address is a good friend of mine, he said that, Prof. Moni, let us work on no milk should travel from village to other places as a raw material. Every gram panchayat, let us work on a dairy, parlor. As a product, it should go out. And why can't we do it? And myself and Narayana Hegde, now he is the chairman of an ashram which is founded by Mahatma Gandhi in 1942 in Pune. And now we are trying to bring in that, dairy parlor in every gram panchayat. The milk should not travel outside. And dairy schemes of the government of India, there is nobody to operationalize at the grassroots level. People say that why to go for dairy? And everybody is looking for everything freebie from the government. Rice, government will give. Dal, government will give. Milk products, government will give. If we don't generate village industries, this is where the KVICs also has not done a good job. They have not made. That's why, last Thursday I made it. See how Alibaba has done village e-commerce in China. And that's what we should produce, village e-commerce. and people should be, they should not move out to the urban area for a job purposes. They can be millionaires. So technology, BharatNet brings in that type of benefits. Internet, laptop, appropriate human resources development, and supporting. And then everybody who wants to help, that value chain stakeholders should go and help the rural youths to, depending upon their capabilities. This is where the 5 centers of excellence, I thought that I should make it, and with the support and help of NRIs, people like you, and the institutions should give a chance to rural India. And enough is enough to look at rural problem is an urban problem. Consider urban problem is a rural problem. And this is where is very important. And I thank you, and all your slides are very important. And since a person who's involved in this one, I would like to get associated, and between the centers of excellence of Shobhit Institute of Engineering and that's what Dr. Praveen Malik, he said it when I think on March 5th he was there in Jaipur to give me a lifetime achievement award in international conference. He didn't say that because after my retirement he didn't see my face. When he said, "Sir, he is our guru, how can I give a lifetime achievement award to him?" "No, sir, I'm now retired." And the thing is that, and I'm very happy to receive that award from you in the international conference. He said that, "Professor Moni, we would like to associate you with the NDLM. Let us meet, let us revive it." And Dr. Sindura Ganapathi is working from PSA, and you, myself, and Dr. Malik, Professor Moni, and Dr. Sindura Ganapathi should work, and that help the NDDB and other, TCS is working on it. But it is necessary. Even at that time itself, I given a livestock portal, it is a blueprint. How a livestock portal should be associated way back in 2008 to 2009. And agricultural resources information system is a must. And the report, which is prepared under National Natural Resource Management, and myself as the member secretary, and Dr. Kundra is a principal advisor, Agriculture Planning Commission. That report is submitted in 2002, and agrees is very important agricultural resource information system. And the disease surveillance is very important for sustainable development. If the disease monitoring is not there, sustainable development cannot take place. So thank you very much, Dr. Sindura Ganapathi, and I would like to hear from you, and then I will close the webinar. Over to you.
No, thank you, Professor Maniji, and appreciate both the opportunity to connect as well as the work that has gone before and the work we still need to achieve, and completely aligned with the need for revitalizing this. And I think we have reached a level of opportunity now where both the energy and emphasis and the technology is there, and it is for us to now make it a reality. So I look forward to working with you.
That's why I put it Health Informatics Network Value Chain. Let us bring all the stakeholders together, plug and play, and our people, our youths, our startups, if they work on it, then they can work for throughout the world. I'm visualizing. That's what one NRI company, they asked me, e-health company, they approached me in 2017. I told them that, fine, you do work on human health, but my interest is this expanded one. So if you are interested, I will be very happy. Otherwise, you continue to do it. Let me try to promote. Then 2021, they came down and they wanted to make me as a principal advisor. They were all trying to promote that, health informatics value chain. And it is very important. And India should promote health informatics network value chain. It is a $1 trillion economy. And I'm looking for maybe in another 10 years from now, with the GIS technology and in this 6 verticals, and with the doubling farmers' income recommendation, and we can have a international data center with the 5,000 people working on this data with modeling. And why can't India visualize this one and have a data center with the 5,000 people working on in the data analytics, artificial intelligence, and various capabilities, and bringing in helping all the village level farmers to work on this. This is my vision. Thank you very much. Let us put
Thank
it
you.
and let
Yeah.
us prepare as a policy paper to the government. With this,
Thank
I
you.
would like to thank Dr. Sindura Ganapathi and also Dr. Praveen Malik, who has introduced you to me, and then and Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, His Excellency Secretary General Ardo, and also dear participants. Thank you very much for strengthening this way international webinar series every week. With this, I will close the webinar and we will leave the studio. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.